I'm breaking up with my boyfriend and his entire family thinks I'm an absolute heartless monster. But let me know what you think because I think that I'm completely in the right and it's totally justified. My boyfriend and I had been dating for almost 2 years and everything in our relationship was pretty great, except for the fact that his mom was not a big fan of me. She's one of those moms that thinks that no one would ever be good enough for her son, so there was no way I was gonna win. But like, girl, your son does not even know how to do laundry, so he's gonna take what he can get at this point. I finally got to the point where I realized that no matter how hard I tried and no matter how great I was, she wasn't gonna like me. She was a boy mom. Finally, my boyfriend and I decided it was time to take the step and move in together, which I was so excited about. But as we started apartment shopping, he was acting really weird and kept insisting that we needed a 2-bedroom, which made no sense to me because we didn't need all of that space. But he kept saying that we could make it into a home office, which again, neither of us needed. So I had no idea, but he was very persistent on the fact that the only thing he cared about was the fact that we lived in a 2-bedroom. Didn't care about the location, just a 2-bedroom. You know what? I decided I'm gonna be a good girlfriend. I'm gonna compromise. If that's what's important to him, fine. We end up not being able to live in the location I wanted because we couldn't afford a 2-bedroom in that location and we had to move a little bit farther out from where we wanted to be. But you know, he said he wanted the 2-bedroom. So we move in together. I'm so excited. I'm so in love. And we start to furnish our entire apartment. And the only room that we didn't have furnished after about 2 weeks of living there was the 2nd bedroom. I was like, babe, you really wanted the 2nd bedroom and it's completely empty. So do you want to go to the store? We can look for some office furniture. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. I'll furnish it. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay, honestly, I did not want to deal with having to get furniture for the 2nd room, so go for it. So I get home from work a few days later and I see that he has completely furnished the 2nd bedroom with bedroom furniture, not with office furniture. And immediately I'm like, something's weird here. Something is not right. So I go to my boyfriend. I'm like, hey, what's up with the furniture? And he was like, oh yeah, you know, once I got to the store, I realized it just made more sense to make it a 2nd bedroom. Like we can still work out of it like an office if we wanted, but making it a bedroom like made more sense. He's just like fumbling over his words. His explanation isn't making any sense. I was like, nope, I don't like this. So finally, I'm just straight up with him. I'm like, okay, do we have some 3rd roommate that I don't know about? Like, is one of your friends living with us and you just didn't tell me? Because this situation is really weird. And he's like, no, of course not. I just thought it made more sense to have a 2nd bedroom. I was like, but you were talking about this office for so long. I was floored. So about another week goes by and that man had not even stepped foot in the 2nd bedroom. I was getting really annoyed at this point because I was like, you made a big deal about wanting it. We couldn't live in the area I wanted, but now apparently you're not even using it. Until one day I get home and I see a ton of suitcases and moving boxes all in my apartment. I was like, wait, I'm sorry. Am I getting dumped? Is my boyfriend moving out? Nope, he wasn't moving out. Someone was moving in. I turned the corner to find my boyfriend and his mother very comfy on the couch. Let me tell you, she was comfortable on my couch, really making herself at home. I guess our home now, not just my home. And I'm really putting the pieces together because the amount of suitcases and boxes she had, way more than just a short visit. Okay, there was no way she was just staying for a weekend. So I walk in, about to have a breakdown, but trying to keep it together. I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, good to see you. Didn't know you were gonna be here. And she barely even looks up from her phone to acknowledge me, like usual. So my boyfriend takes me outside and is like, okay, we should talk about this. I was like, yeah, we really should. I think that'd be great if we talked about this. And he said that his parents were separating and his mom didn't have anywhere to go. And since we had the extra space in our apartment, had that whole extra room, he decided, well, what a great idea. She can move in with us. And this is all news to me. I didn't know his parents were separating. I didn't know that his mom was moving in with us, nothing. So I'm like, okay, wait, how long do you want your mom to stay with us? Like, is she gonna find a different place? He was like, no, I just thought, we have the room, so she can just live with us, just kind of join the lease. I was like, what? I'm sorry, moving with us permanently? He was trying to make it seem like we just happened to get a 2-bedroom and then this just all happened to work out. No. I immediately clocked that. I was like, you wanted this 2-bedroom so bad. I thought it was weird. I thought it was so weird why you wanted this 2-bedroom. Now it makes sense. This whole thing was a plan. He knew he was gonna move his mom in since before we even signed the lease to our new apartment. He keeps being like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. And then finally, yeah, he caves because I knew the truth. And he was like, well, I knew you would say no if I told you. So I just thought it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. I was like, no. He was like, I can't kick her out. It's my mom. Like, what do you want me to do? I said, I'm not asking you to kick her out. You don't need to. I don't live here anymore. I'm leaving. We're done. And he's absolutely shocked. He's like, you're breaking up with me because I want to help my mother? I said, no, I'm breaking up with you because you're a liar. You kept all these plans hidden from me to try and force me into a situation. Absolutely not. That's manipulative. That's like pathological liar status. I'm done. That's it. A ton of his family members have been calling me and telling me how horrible and selfish I am, that like he's just trying to help his mother. How could I break up with him for that? Like, no, like that is not the issue here. We are really missing the plot about this breakup. No matter what the situation was, I deserved at least a conversation. That, I'm sorry, just doing this, moving her in, that's wild. I don't think I was too harsh at all. I think that the breakup was the only solution to this problem, but I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Do I need to be apologizing, or did I just dodge a bullet from an actual narcissist? Please hear me out. Yo, this makes me so nervous. So I have been talking to a gentleman that I met on Instagram. We met in person for the first time in June. However, he had been in my DMs for a little over a year. Right, fast forward, I post that I was going to be moving from Johannesburg to Durban. I think a couple of weeks prior to that, we had spoken about our favorite meals or whatever. And then when he saw that I was going to be moving out of Johannesburg back to my hometown, he was like, oh my word, you're moving. I was still hoping that you and I could share that meal. And then he asked that we can go out and share the meal together before I leave Johannesburg. I'm excited because this is a nice gentleman that I have been talking to. I do find him attractive. I am single, so I thought, why not? The more we talk leading up to the actual date, I'm starting to like this person. He's very engaged, types long paragraphs, and I'm thinking, nice. Let's get into the day of the date. I prepared for the date, obviously. I went and I bought a new outfit. I was really excited to meet this person. I don't know if I have said this enough. Date comes, we meet at 7. I'm not even going to try to downplay it, but the date really went amazing. We met at 7, the restaurant closed at 10, but the conversation, we just couldn't stop. So even when he dropped me off at home, we still spoke, sitting in the car in the parking lots for another 2 hours. I think I went to bed at like 1 a.m. that night. Fast forward, that date ends, and the next day we're still talking. He never asked for my number, by the way. We were still talking on DM. So even after the date itself, he still didn't have my number. Now, as you can imagine, after we've met in person, now we're getting a little bit more comfortable with each other. I'm not going to lie to you. He was the perfect gentleman. Didn't touch me, didn't make any moves on me. So he asked for permission to hug me. I was like, this is my kind of man. This is my man. The next day, as we're talking, he keeps asking, what am I up to? I was still packing my place, and he ended up asking if he could come see me again. And I said, absolutely. And he did. We proceeded to spend the following night together again. We went out for dinner again. Then we go our separate ways again. I go to bed. Then the next day was going to be a Saturday, the day that I officially fly back to Durban. Sends me another DM. Who's taking you to the airport? Do you need help with your luggage? And obviously, I'm smitten over this man. I need any excuse to see him just as much as he wants to see me. So it was quite clear that the feeling was mutual. He comes to pick me up to drop me off at the airport. Drives straight to departures, drop-off zone, and stops the car. I jump out. I give him a nice snug hug, and he leaves. I still had another like 2 hours before my flight. I was just there early because I had lots of luggage to check in. I go to the queue. I say bye. It's bittersweet. I'm hoping that he could have stayed, but it's fine. Thank you for the ride. Bye. Next thing, I see a text, a DM. I see a DM. Hey, what time is your flight? Oh, you still have so much time. I'm like, yeah, I still have time. I'm going to be chilling. Have you had lunch yet? I actually haven't had a chance to eat. Is it okay if I drive back and buy you lunch? That hit me right here. And my luggage was already checked in. I had time, and then we went and we shared another meal yet again. This is now day 3. And as you can imagine, fast forward, we are now more comfortable with each other. Mind you, this man has remained so respectful this entire time. From the time he was DMing me that entire year when we were barely talking, he was always respectful, always showering me with compliments up until this point. Now, we start talking more and more often. I'm talking 4-hour video calls every single day. Here's where things start to change and shift for me. There was one night where my friend and I went out for dinner And then I believe it was the following Tuesday. So I posted that video from the restaurant of the previous Saturday. And then I text him because we hadn't spoken the whole day. I text him. I'm like, hey, he sends me a video and he shows me that he's still at work. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We'll chat when you're fine. And then I guess he views my story, and then he comments on my story. He says, oh, some of us are at work and when I could do my date. That's a strange thing to say to someone. Immediately, I'm like, wait, is that a jab or something at me? Is that supposed to be a jab? He's like, what? What are you talking about? No, it's not. And then I'm like, no, that sounds like a very passive-aggressive statement. Why would you say that? And then he calls me. We're still calling on Instagram, by the way. He calls me and he's like, no, absolutely not. Why would you think that? No, man, I'm sorry. And then he's like, it was a joke. I was just saying, I wish I was on a date. And that would be the beginning of a plethora and many, many more passive-aggressive, condescending, and mocking statements. And I'll just give you a few. If it wasn't something like him constantly reminding me that he's eating healthy, what am I eating? What am I making for dinner? Am I counting my calories? Am I taking care of my health? If it wasn't that, it would be a jab. If I'm talking about the previous place I was living at, it would be, you'll need to learn your rights. This is not how things are supposed to work. And my thing is, I don't mind you teaching me things, but it was just in the manner and the way that he would say things. And every time I called it out, he would say, it's a joke. Oh, I see now. Clearly, I cannot joke with you. Mind you, it was a now complete shift from the person that I met and the person I had been texting to the person that I was now dealing with after we had met. So I kept asking myself, is it me? Am I not coming to the party? Am I not just getting that this is his personality and he means well? But I don't want to lie, these things really did not sit well with me. Now, as mentioned in the previous video, he keeps making a habit of making these jokes that don't land quite well. Like, they're pretty rude, to be quite honest. And then this is the straw that broke the camel's back. As we usually do, it's one of those nights where we are on a video call. I'm about to jump into bed and he sees me spraying a body mist. And then he says something along the lines of, oh, why are you putting on perfume for bed? Who are you trying to smell nice for? And then I didn't see it as anything malicious. I just giggled. I'm like, oh no, I'm not trying to smell nice for anyone. I just like smelling good. And this is a body mist. I show him, this is a body mist. It's not perfume. And then I proceed to say, but you know I always smell good. You've been around me, so you know I smell good. And then he says, yes, I did pick up that you do smell quite good, but I wasn't about to tell you. I say, yeah, I actually did pick up that you don't give compliments. Guys, the first time we met each other, he didn't compliment how I looked. The second time, he didn't compliment. Third time, he didn't compliment. There's never been a time where he was like, oh, I really enjoyed seeing you. It's great hanging out with you. Or you look really good. You smell really good. I was just feeding off the energy that it seemed like we were on the same page. But he says, because I don't need to give you compliments. Number one, you know this already. And also, I don't need it getting to your head. I'm like, getting to my head? So are you like trying to humble me or something? And he says, yeah, I must humble you. And then I say, that's a very strange thing to say. I enjoy compliments. I like receiving compliments. And then he takes it to hell. He says, oh, then that's why men lie to you girls, because you guys want us to keep making things up. When did we get there? And then he says, oh, let me not generalize. That's why men will lie to you when antiki, because you want us to keep making things up. Jump scare. Now, if I tell you, this man proceeded to talk and all I could think about was, oh my word, I don't want to be spoken to like this. Is this a joke? Is this a prank? So at some point I say to him, yeah, whatever. You're right. Okay, whatever. I don't want to talk about this anymore. And then he's like, I'm visibly upset now. I'm visibly upset by what he just said. And I'm just quiet. And instead of him picking up on my energy shift, he can see that my energy has shifted. But instead of trying to like take back what he said, he's like, yeah, maybe I think you should just go to sleep. Guys, I'm in shock. I'm processing this entire conversation. I'm literally looking at him like, is this a joke? I take a very, very deep breath. and I write him a message and I say, hey, I really don't appreciate the way that you just spoke to me. You've been making this a habit and I keep bringing it to you and you're not changing it. And this is not, I don't like this. And then I block him. Right decision, right? Oh, but it doesn't stop there because I'm me. We had been talking. There was a time where I gave him my number, but he was not using it. He was still talking to me on DMs. Now he's been blocked, and then after a couple of days, I get a call from a no-caller ID. Hello. Oh, it's good to know that you are alive. Hangs up. Now, at this point, now I want to have a conversation because, like, are you normal? Like, are you okay? I unblock him. He sends me a screenshot of a message that he sent that night. He's apologizing. He's asking me, he's saying to me, he realized that he had been blocked after he called me, because when he called me, it was because he was genuinely worried. And then we have a lengthy conversation. I tell him how his actions and his words actually hurt my feelings. And I received what I thought was a genuine apology. You can pause to read. Essentially, he gave me a really warm-hearted apology, and I don't want to lie, it kind of touched me, and I thought, okay, maybe I really did misinterpret all of this. We are still talking now. I could tell that he was still not okay. So now it was almost as if I was trying to make things right between the two of us. I think 2 nights after we had this conversation, I video called him, and then we had another one of our 4-hour-long video calls. However, what I did pick up is that even though he had apologized, he still kept bringing up the fact that I blocked him and how. So I was just like, dude, you gave me such a heartfelt apology, but now you're still kind of bitter about the fact that you were blocked and it's becoming such a big deal to you. Can we just move past it? And then he's like, yeah, we can move past it. We go to sleep. The next day, I'm like, okay, let me not reach out to him, because yesterday he seemed to like still be quite upset. That was a Tuesday. Wednesday comes, he doesn't text me, doesn't call. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Now, I had been in Johannesburg that weekend, so I did go out for dinner, and I posted a short snippet of the dinner. He only reached out to me to say, oh, I see you were out on a date. Like, don't bore me now. Who said I was on a date? And also, if I was, are you justified in asking me this after you've ghosted me and given me the silent treatment for about 5 days? At this point, all of my patience is gone. Like, the nice version of me was gone. Like, I was just giving attitude, not responding. I was just like done, like over it. This man proceeded to crash out in my DMs for the next 4 days, asking me questions. Oh, I see you were on a date. Oh, do you have a boyfriend now? So happy for you. Siyakbongela. Congratulations. And proceeds to take a screenshot of my post saying, yeah, I see that you were on a date. Is that why you blocked me? Now, I don't want to lie, this brought out the mean side of me. I was mean to him because I was genuinely confused. I then received another essay, a long message from him talking about how it's fine, I can proceed to block him now, but he just wants to let me know that he really liked me, he more than liked me, and he had such high hopes for us, but now I'm just really showing my true colors. He doesn't know how things got here, and that, yeah, now he genuinely had great intentions. However, he's disappointed that I didn't let him know that he wasn't the only person I was talking to. Guys, he's making these things up, and I was starting to question myself because he's really convinced of the things that he is saying. And at that point, there was really nothing I could do to convince him, because he's convinced that I didn't block him because of the things he said. I blocked him because I wanted to go on a date, even though these two events are like over a week apart. How did we get here? And also, I told him where to get off, and I called him a gaslighter, a manipulator, and an emotional abuser. And now a couple of days later, I'm not so angry as I was when this happened. And I'm like, yikes, did I take it overboard? Because that last message that he sent, just like the apology, felt really honest, really vulnerable. I straight up said to him, none of these things that you're saying to me matter, because when it did matter, you wanted to play games, play mind games, and not be honest. Now you want to tell me how much you like me. I don't care. I'm not interested. But now I'm thinking about it and I'm like, I also did share the message with my friend that I sent, and she basically said to me, yeah, you started off well sharing your thoughts, but the things that you said to him at the end of the message, she said to me, you should have just stopped when you started. You shouldn't have carried on to say the other things that you said. And then she proceeds to tell me, you know what, I think you and this guy genuinely liked each other. You were both genuine, but you just don't speak the same language. And there's so much frustration because you're not understanding each other. So now I'm feeling a little bad. I'm a little annoyed at how things went down because of his games. And it also really sucks that he really believes, I thought he was just being funny, but like looking back, he really believes the things that he is saying. And I'm just like, is this person operating out of like a trauma response? What is happening? But yeah, that's the story, guys. Tell me what you think.
Have you ever met a pathological liar? I have. Actually, I had a best friend in high school who was a pathological liar. I'm gonna tell you the entire story about this bitch. Oh my god. Because I feel like I'm at a place in my life where I can finally tell a story, because I'm never again going to have relations with this girl. Like, I'm literally just so done with her and her friend group. So, like, let's just spill the tea, why don't we? So, in high school, freshman year, no, it was my sophomore year, my mother got in contact with this woman on Facebook. This woman on Facebook posted and was like, my daughter just moved to this new school, my school, and she needs friends and somebody to walk to the bus with her. And my mom was like, my daughter will walk to the bus with your daughter. Against my will, obviously. However, at the time, I was also low-key in need of friends too. So, this girl and her mom came to my house and we met, and it was very awkward at first, but we walked to school the next day and the day after that and the day after that, and slowly we clicked and we became best friends. Okay, so every single day me and this girl walk to the bus stop and home from the bus stop, so obviously we're talking a lot, exchanging stories and lies, if you will. I'm pretty sure this girl is the reason why my lie detection skills are as prime as they are to this day. You know, she's the reason. So, you know, I can thank you for that. I needed someone to help me develop this skill. Thank you. So one time we were walking home, and this is like the first time I caught her in like a lie. Like, I obviously didn't call her out on it, you know, because I was like, yeah, you're my best friend. But we're walking home and talking about how we want to go to Coachella, because Coachella is so cool. And she goes, yeah, I went to Coachella last year. Mind you, I was like 16 and she was like 15, right? Because I was a sophomore and she was a freshman. Okay? If you know anything about Coachella, you know that you have to be 18 to go. I didn't know that when she told me, when she was originally like telling me. So in the moment I was like, yeah, wow, that's really cool. So I was like believing her in the moment. But then I went home and I was like looking up stuff and like researching Coachella and stuff, and then I saw that you had to be 18 to go, and then that's when I knew that she was bullshitting me, especially because she had told me that she had like met a bunch of celebrities and shit there, and I was like, no fucking way, bro, that's so cool. But then I knew for a fact it was a fucking lie, and from that point on I was catching her in lies all the time. One time she even did the classic, oh, my cousin is this celebrity. I don't remember which one she said. I'm pretty sure she said it was like Shawn Mendes, like some classic bullshit like that. I don't remember, but she pulled that bullshit and I was like, really? Anyways, the thing about pathological liars is that they don't like actively realize that they're lying 90% of the time. They're just like doing it, you know? So they won't remember their lies, and sometimes they'll mess up and they'll double up on their lies, and they like won't match up to what they've said in the past. And that's how I caught her a lot, and like she would fuck up, you know? And I was so over it. So one day I sent her this long ass paragraph and I was like, I'm so over it. Like, you've lied about this and this and this. Because it started getting to the point where she would like lie about stupid petty shit, like in like our friendships and our relationships, and like it wouldn't even just be about like silly, like, oh, I went to Coachella, oh, my family member's famous, like stuff like that. It would be like stuff within our friendship now. So I was like, I can't do this. I can't be friends with someone like this. So then I block her and move on, and we don't have any contact. There's not really any beef, no drama, nothing. For years, okay? And then last year, when I went to that 4th of July party at my friend's house, I met this girl, okay? And me and this girl, we were super cool, whatever, awesome. Me and her started talking, Snapchatting all the time, hung out a couple times. One day, she sends me a picture, a Snapchat of her and another girl. Guess who she was with? She was with my ex-high school best friend, who is a pathological liar. And it had been years, right? So I was like, oh, you know, like, she's an adult now, we're not in high school anymore, like, maybe she's not a little fucking weirdo anymore. So I was like, oh my god, that's cool, you're hanging out with her, like, we used to be friends. And like, she seemed really cool about it too, so we all started hanging out a couple times. But then one time, all three of us were hanging out, right? And she starts fucking lying again. But this time it was like, I was like, you're a bad person, dude. Like, she really thought she was cool for it too. She had started telling me a story about her birthday party, which I was at, but apparently this had happened before I got there, right? Okay? Okay. She was, yeah, I was so messed up, and I drank like a whole bottle by myself, and I was going around pouring shots in everybody's drinks, like just straight vodka in everybody's, like their seltzer drinks, like, and she was saying it so proudly too. Like, what? Like, even if this wasn't a lie, it clearly was. She was so proudly, openly admitting that she was giving more alcohol to people without their knowledge. Like, that's so not okay. So not okay on so many levels. Like, you were getting people more intoxicated against their will and finding that funny. She didn't actually do that. But the fact that you're lying about it because you think it's cool and funny is weird as fuck, bro. The entire time she was telling me this story, I was literally just staring at her and I was like, uh-huh, yeah. And she could tell I wasn't like reciprocating it well, because I wasn't feeding into it at all. Did they ask me to hang out again after that? No, they didn't. Not the three of us alone, at least, okay? So we have my group of guy friends, right, who all like to hang out and get drunk together occasionally. And I introduced these two girls to them because my dudes are always like, bring bitches! And I'm like, okay, well, here's some bitches. You can have them, I guess. So they come over one night and they start hanging out with them, okay? Even when I'm not around, which irked me a little bit, but that doesn't happen anymore because they found out why these girls are so anyways. I go over there to my guy friend's house and I'm talking to him about these two girls. I don't bring it up, he brings it up, right? Because whatever, I don't give a fuck really. But he goes, yeah, I don't fuck with so-and-so anymore, she lied to me. I was like, oh, really? Interesting, what'd she lie about? And he goes, yeah, she told me, she tried to make me feel bad and sympathize for her, and she told me that she had a brother who died in a crazy car accident or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but she told him that she had a brother who died. She does not have a brother. She has never had a brother. And the other girl, those two girls, they're best friends now, right? They don't hang out with any of us anymore. For a good reason. The other girl, oh, she's a whole nother story and a fucking half. but we'll save that for another day, okay? But yeah, this girl literally tried to invite me to a party the other night. And I was like, no, what are you gonna do? Like, fucking feed me alcohol or like drug me or some shit? I'll pass, you know? Or are you gonna make up some wild story about me and lie to people about it? Like, I'm good. I do not want to be anywhere near you. Sorry, it was a long one, but it's 2 a.m. and I'm bored. I hope you guys enjoyed. Love you.
Get ready with me while I tell you about my awful first day working for a very well-known women's clothing brand. And spoiler alert, it was also my last day because I quit on the spot. Okay, so for context, I applied to this job mostly for fun. I wanted to get back into retail a little bit, but I do work a full-time job and I just wanted something fun to do on the weekends, not really for money, but just to have something fun to do. And I've worked in boutiques before, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. I think I'm pretty good at working in a boutique like that. And so I was ready for the interview. So I go in for the interview and it goes great. She hires me on the spot. She says, you'll be a perfect fit. We love your background. And I fell in love with the manager. I thought, this is gonna be great. However, she told me that even though she was the one who hired me, she was actually moving to a different store location before I would be starting the next week. So I would meet all the other girls when I started. So my first day comes and I walk in, I introduce myself to the girls and the store manager says, okay, I have a meeting to get to, but here's the vacuum. Just start vacuuming the whole store and the fitting rooms. So right off the bat, I was kind of like, but I was like, maybe she's busy. She has a meeting to get to that she forgot about. So I just started vacuuming. So a little over an hour goes by and I have vacuumed the entire store. And mind you, this is a very big store, bigger than ones I have ever worked in. It has about 8 to 10 fitting rooms, I think. And none of the other girls talked to me while I was doing this, but I just kept working. The girl eventually comes back and she tells me, we're gonna start you as a greeter at the front of the store. So basically I was like, this is gonna be easy peasy. I know how to greet customers. I'm pretty good with my people skills. I thought, easy. She gives me a bullet point list of everything that I need to tell these women or anyone who walks into the store before they start shopping. So basically I needed to tell them my name, all our promotions, ask them if they needed any help. There was other things also on the list. And if someone came in and got past me before I was able to tell them everything on the list, she was upset. But mind you, when I walk into a store, I am not trying to have a conversation with the store employee at the very front of the store before I start shopping. I kind of just want to get in and start looking around. So I understood why all of these people were seemingly annoyed at me for trying to hold a full conversation before they started looking around. It just felt really awkward because these people were trying to scoot by me while I was trying to finish my spiel while looking over my shoulder, watching the girl watching me, making sure that I said every single thing on that list before they started shopping. Secondly, when people would ask me for help, because I offered it to them, I said, let me know if you need any help shopping. They would come back and ask me for help, and if I left the front door to actually go help them, I got in trouble. She said, you are not allowed to leave your post because if you leave your post, people will walk in and not be greeted and not be told our promotions. Which I understand, but if someone asks me for help, I'm not going to say, no, I cannot help you. On top of all of this, she's also putting a bunch of clothes on a rack next to me that I'm supposed to also be finding the spots where they go and putting them away while not leaving the front door. So I had that post for a few hours, and the whole time I just was basically having a panic attack because I could feel her watching me and she just kept telling me I was doing things wrong when I really, basically all that I thought I was supposed to do was welcome people into the store and let them know that I'm here if they needed help. I also just want to mention that I've been in other locations of this store since working this day, and I have not been greeted in the way that I was told I needed to greet everyone. I'm not bombarded, like I was told to do to other people. Okay, then I worked fitting rooms for most of the rest of the day, the next few hours. until she came and got me and said, okay, we need to go do some of your training in the back, you know, like computer videos and just some questionnaires and stuff that I needed to watch and fill out. At this time, it's 4 o'clock. I was supposed to be there from 10 to 4. She told me 10 to 4 was my shift. It's now 4 o'clock and she's giving me more things to do. But you know what? I was like, maybe this will just take a few minutes and she knows I have to go soon. I was incorrect. 2 more hours went by of her saying, just one more thing, just one more thing. Here's the last thing you need to do. Until finally at 6 something, I said, I really need to go. She looked at her watch and said, oh yeah, you were only supposed to be here until 4. I didn't even look at the time. Which in her defense, I know I should have said something sooner, but I just kept thinking, she obviously must know what time my shift was today. She's the one who told me when I walked in what time my shift was over. So I just assumed she was actually giving me something that was only going to take a few more minutes. It just kept happening though. She also then said, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you that you did get a 30-minute break for a snack or lunch that you could have taken. I didn't know that. I just didn't ask for one. I should have known that I could have taken a break, but I didn't ask for one. It was my first day. I thought surely she would tell me when it was time for my break. So 10 to 6:20-ish, I did not have a sip of water, a bite of food. I was literally shaking. I was so hungry and tired. I said thank you, said my goodbyes, and left. I also think it's worth a mention too that the whole time I was there, I just kept overhearing the other girls talking to themselves, complaining that they're so tired and they haven't had a day off in months, and complaining about their shifts, and I don't know, that just was another red flag to me. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to tell you guys. So when I was greeting, the reason that this girl was telling me that I needed to remember to say every single thing on the bullet point list to every single person that walked in, her reasoning, she told me that they get secret shoppers in this store, which basically is someone from corporate who comes in undercover as a normal shopper, and they take note of every single interaction that they have in the store with the girls who work there, and they take points off for anything that is on their bullet point list that they go down, and if something is not checked off by the time they leave, they will fail your store. And I don't really know what happens if they fail, but she said, our store will fail and it will be your fault. That alone was just a lot of pressure that I did not want to be responsible for. Okay, anyway, so I left the store feeling really terrible about myself, about my skills. I just felt awful. And it's not a good, you know, that's not what I was looking for in a job. I thought this was going to be an easy, fun job. I would make friends, a little extra money, and I left feeling terrible. So then about a month goes by and I still haven't been paid for the day that I worked there and the hours that I put in. So I reach out to the girl that I worked with and had contact with, and I asked her about it, and she gave me the number of somebody in corporate or higher up that I needed to reach out to. And I was really nice about it. I just let her know that I hadn't been paid yet and was asking when to expect my payment. She was really rude about it. She said, basically, who are you? Where did you work? What? I don't understand. She asked why I only worked one day. I let her know that this job just wasn't for me. I told her about my experiences a little bit. And then she got super nice, like apologizing profusely. She let me know my check was on the way that day. And the switch up was crazy. So anyway, that is the story. And I do want to mention that I do really still love this brand. I love what they stand for. I just did not have a good time working there. And I don't know if it was just that location. I don't know. But I just wanted to tell you guys. Bye.
Okay, I am crashing out and I need somebody to listen to me because I'm tired of bugging my friends with this. So this is going to be a story time about my psycho ex-neighbor who is still torturing me to this day, even though we don't live in the same complex anymore. Okay, so listen, please. Okay, we're gonna call her Mary. Okay, so my husband and I moved above Mary in 2021. The first day we moved in, I'm unpacking, putting things away. My husband is at work, and she comes up to my door and she says, I'm sorry, I know you just moved in, but can you please turn your music down? Okay, it's like 11 in the morning. I had all the windows open. There was so much beautiful light. Okay, I'm sorry, the sound travels. So I closed the windows and I turned down the music a little bit. Okay, and I was like, a couple weeks go by, we don't hear from Mary at all. She gives me smiles and says hi to my dog. And I was like, okay, so it was just that one instance. Maybe it was a little loud. The apartment had thin walls, whatever. No, that was not it. Then summertime comes, okay? We get an air conditioning unit. It's a standing unit, and every single day, as soon as I would turn it on, she starts banging on the ceiling with her broom. From there, it just escalates. Every time I walk in my apartment, she starts banging on her ceiling with her fucking broom. Every time I'd walk to my kitchen, there was one spot on the floors that would creak. Every time I'd walk on that spot, she'd bang on the ceiling. Every time I'm putting my clothes away and I'm closing my dresser drawers, she bangs on the ceiling. Every time she can hear my radio, she's yelling through the floor, "Shut up! You're too loud! Shut up!" And then it gets worse. Then she resorts to calling the cops on us every single day for almost 2 weeks. Every time I'd wake up and I'd walk to my kitchen to go get water, she's banging on the ceiling. I got woken up at 7 in the morning to cops at my door saying, "Oh, we're getting noise complaints about you." I'm in bed. What do you mean you're getting noise complaints about me? I am in my bed. You woke me up out of my bed. And then they had the audacity to tell me that I need to figure out a way to get along with her. I'm not doing anything. So then I decided I'm done with this. I'm not talking to her anymore. I decided I'm going to get property management involved. So I started recording every time she'd be yelling at us through the floor, every time she's banging on the ceiling, and what we're doing. She's banging on the ceiling. I'm sitting on my couch. She's banging on the ceiling. I'm walking to my fucking kitchen to get water. What am I doing wrong? Then my property management company tells me that she's been complaining about us, but they haven't been telling us because she's done this to the last 3 tenants that lived in my unit. 3 tenants. 3 different people before me that signed that lease that had to deal with this. And they all complained to property management about her. So now I'm saying you need to do something about this. I'm not going to be the one to just sit here and take this. I have all of this video evidence that she's being crazy. You have all of these police reports. I'm not doing anything. So they said, okay, we're going to come to her unit. We're going to listen while you do whatever you're doing. And we're going to hear from her perspective what's going on because maybe it is loud. All right. So they go to her unit. I turn on my air conditioner. My landlord is recording a video to send to me because she was on my side. Okay. She's recording a video to show me what it sounds like. At most, it sounds like a refrigerator humming. Maybe, if that, okay? That's it. It's not loud at all. She's fucking crazy. So then property management tells me, okay, here's what we're going to do. You buy soundproofing. Buy some soundproofing, put it under the air conditioner, maybe put some blankets under it so the vibration isn't as loud, and hopefully it won't bother her as much. Okay, so we spent like a couple $100 buying car soundproofing panels to put under the air conditioner. We put them under our bed in our room. We put them behind picture frames. I was trying to soundproof our apartment to please her. It doesn't work. A couple weeks go by. She's still banging and calling the cops on us. All the time, by the way. They're coming to our door weekly, and I have to explain to them the situation every single time. And every single time, they go, "Oh, okay." And they leave. Okay. So then one night at like 8 p.m., we are on our couch watching TV, and I get a knock at my door. I open the door. It's her. She reeks of alcohol and she's slurring her words. So I'm like, oh, she's about to flip out on us. I pull out my phone. I start recording her. She is going off about how we're the worst neighbors and how I don't even remember what she said because I blacked it out, but she spews drunk babble on how we are the worst and she doesn't want us to live there anymore and we need to move if we're going to be so loud and we're not considerate and blah, 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 whatever. And I'm just sitting there recording her like, okay, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not doing anything. So then I send that video to my property management and I told them, you need to let us out of our lease or you need to evict her. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I cannot deal with the cops coming to my door weekly because of some psycho. Finally, they agreed. They let us out of the lease. We moved out. We moved into this apartment now and everything was great for 3 years. 3 years. One day, I noticed a car on our street that looks oddly familiar. It's hers. I'm thinking, oh, what is her car doing here? She must be visiting someone, right? She moved into my new complex. She lives by me again. She lives on the other side of my new complex, so I don't have to live right next to her, but I see her all the time going to do laundry, and every time she walks by me, she goes, What? Who did I piss off in this world? That this is my karma. I am a good person, okay? I don't know what I did to deserve this, but she fucking lives next to us now. And ever since she moved in, we've been getting so many more emails from this property management company saying, we need to be considerate of our noise in the complex. We need to be considerate of our neighbors. Please turn your TVs down after 10. It's because of her, right? Like, she has to be complaining about the people that she lives next to now. So now, what do? I want to do something. So I'm thinking, should I pull my property manager, who lives right next to me, aside and show her the videos that I have of her and be like, is this the girl complaining? Is this her? You shouldn't have let her move in here. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. She saw me today walking up the stairs and she's like, I will fight you. I want to like really inconvenience her. Like, I want to do something that's going to make her life really annoying, but I don't want to do anything illegal. What should I do? I need ideas. Thank you for listening if you made it this far. I will have updates for you because I am going to tell my property manager as soon as I see her.